Let's freaking go. Let's go. We always attack every single LSU story with as much positive energy, but also objectivity as we possibly can here on Power Hour LSU. Obviously, Walker Howard does enter the transfer portal. We've already done a video on it earlier today, but I'm going to give you a few extra thoughts that I could not include in a 15-minute video. And we all have our own takes, okay? We say hi to a lot of people in here. Jared, Branson, Rob G, Stacy, so many of you in here, okay? So here's the first thing I will say about Walker Howard entering the portal, okay? I've been having a lot of great conversations in our PHL Patreon and our PHL Discord and all that good stuff. The first thing I will say is Walker Howard is a very talented quarterback, and there is no denying his raw ability. He is a true playmaker at the position, and he had a very bright future at LSU. And I saw someone under my video earlier today, hey, Carter, weren't you the one that predicted Walker Howard to win a national championship at LSU? And yes, I did. I predicted him to do very great things at LSU. But this is a weird thing about quarterbacks, right? You never know. You never, ever, ever, ever know when a quarterback is going to get his opportunity to play. It is a very inexact science. This is not any other position in the game of football. If you're an offensive lineman, guess what? You could prove your worth playing 5 different positions, right? If you're a wide receiver and you can actually play, you're going to get your opportunity to play because there are 3 wide receivers on the field more often than not on the field all at one time. Tight end, you're going to get your opportunity to play. Defensive line, any position except quarterback. You never know. You never know when you're going to get that opportunity. And a lot of quarterbacks know this, right? So when they see an opportunity to go play elsewhere and they don't see a clear path where they are currently playing, now they have the ability to go somewhere else. So the first thing is we need to understand that there's been a paradigm shift in who actually controls your career now. It used to be wherever you sign your initial letter of intent, that's where you're going to be, right? I think about Ryan Mallett quite a bit. He was a quarterback from the Arkansas region who went to Michigan. They decided to start running the option. He transferred to Arkansas and had to wait a full year before he had a chance to play. This is a completely different era where if you transfer, you are ready to go right off the jump. Now, what exactly does that mean in the grand scheme of things for LSU? Well, they didn't know if Walker Howard was going to be the absolute best thing since Joe Burrow. We didn't know. It's impossible to know if Walker Howard was going to be the next great thing. And that is partially why he transferred. He wanted to, at the very least, take a step forward in his career, and he would not have taken a step forward in his career going into next year because he would have been the number 3 guy last year, and he would have been the number 3 guy now. And that is where I think a lot of people are hung up here for the wrong reasons. You are getting yourself in a tizzy over a number 3 quarterback. You can't ever allow yourself to do that. Like, if he for sure was going to be the guy, it would have been so undeniable that they would have had to play him. So, I liked Walker Howard. He had a way higher grade than most quarterbacks I evaluated in 2022, other than Cade Klubnik. I really did think he was good. It might have been some of my bias speaking because I knew he was going to LSU, but I really was blown away. So at this point, this idea that you should lose sleep or think less of the coaching staff because Walker Howard is no longer with the team. Who's to say he was happy here? Maybe there are some other factors that we don't know about. Okay. So we go to Max, our first super chat of the evening. From spring to the 2022 season, what did Walker Howard do or show to have a lot of people thinking that he gives us a better chance to win over JD Nuss or even Ricky Collins? He didn't have the best arm. Okay. I agree. Nuss clearly has the best arm of these quarterbacks listed, or at the very least, the most talented arm, if you factor in mechanics and how pretty of a ball he actually throws. Um, and obviously, Jaden is a better quarterback right now than Walker Howard. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I think some of you would. I think some of you feel Walker Howard is ready to be the guy right now. So let me let me ask this question, because here's Tyler. I've been talking to Tyler with about this in the Discord. Am I wrong for saying it's a possibility that JD5 doesn't get better? So we really can't say what any of the quarterbacks can do. Yeah, and that's kind of my point here. You don't know. So if you don't know, then stick with what you do know. And Jaden gives your team a good floor, right? So yeah, I mean, that's part of it. Like, we aren't there every day to see if Walker Howard had this ridiculous upside and he made just dazzling plays in practice. It's kind of hard for us to say because we're not there. And while we did get to see the limited sample, let me ask you this, and whether it be Tyler or anyone else, and Tyler and I have a really good relationship. Um, was there a play Was there a play that Walker Howard made in the spring game or in a college setting that made you go, wow? In the limited sample size, right? He played some mop up duty versus Southern. He obviously played some versus Purdue and maybe a snap here or there in some other games. Was there a play that stuck out to you? I'm asking you that, whoever that may be. Okay. So I just don't know. I just, maybe there is something that I don't know about. It very well could be the case. It's hard to keep up with everything in the world of LSU football. Mark, good to see you this evening. This old vet. Daniel, your transfer lost to A&M, nearly lost to Arkansas, and now will cost you the future. I mean, honestly, I agree with you. The Arkansas game was abysmal. The A&M second half was also abysmal from Jaden, but he was great in other games. So it's tough to say. Let's go to Branson. I mean, is Jack Bash asking his friend if he want to team up really tampering, though? I'd do the same with my high school teammates. I don't want to get into tampering. It's going to happen. Do you know how many of these people are connected? I'm just being honest. Do you want me to give you a behind the scenes of how easy it is? Well, this is an example of it. Um, let's just say Garrett Nussmeier, for instance. Let's just say this was Garrett Nussmeier. His dad knows half the college coaches that are currently coaching right now. If you need to get in contact with somebody, you can, right? And we can get into the ethics of tampering, and I agree with Branson Cat here. I mean, it's hard to stop those things. Um, let's go to Mont Dog. This is a problem with staying with Daniels. LSU thinks they can continue to get the next Joe Burrow through the transfer portal. Kelly won't last long, losing QB for 5-star recruits. Well, welcome to the channel, Mont Dog. Good to see you. Everybody, welcome Mont Dog to the channel. Okay. So let me answer this as best as I possibly can. I always want to make sure I answer first timers questions very thoroughly. Most of the great quarterbacks, what I would say probably half of them come via the transfer portal. So to say that one way of getting quarterbacks or the other is the best way, it's kind of complex, right? Um, I think in a perfect world, you would like to be able to recruit your own high school quarterbacks and develop them through your own system. But I don't think that that's really a viable way of doing things if you don't use the transfer portal at your convenience at the absolute best position, right? Um, so yeah, I think transfers, no matter how you cut it, let's take the best quarterback developer in the country right now, Lincoln Riley, right? Oh, who are his last four elite quarterbacks? Well, three of them were transfers, right? So, and I'm not including Caleb Williams in that. There's uh, there's this idea that you need to homegrown your own quarterbacks. There's always going to be quarterbacks in the portal that are going to be interested at playing at LSU. They're it's just the case, right? And just look at LSU's own history of which quarterbacks have actually turned out to be the better ones. So there you go. You've been a silent sub for a while. Good to see you, man. Speak up. We want you to speak loud. What do you mean I don't love you? You got the most epic photo here, Dwayne. What do you mean I don't love you? So people in this chat really acting like losing Walker and Besh. Guess some people feel that way. I can't speak on behalf of everybody. So already at 100 viewers, which is really good. We had to start a little bit later. Also, I will make this clear. I don't normally do live streams on Wednesday. I am doing a live stream on this was already scheduled. This news just happened to break. So tomorrow night, all right. I know a lot of you won't listen because apparently a lot of you hate Jaden. Tomorrow night, you'll get the Purdue film study instead of a live stream of Jaden Daniels. What I liked, what I didn't like from the Purdue game, there were some rough moments. So once again, tomorrow night, Jaden Daniels film study right here on PHL. Then on Saturday night, you're going to get the Garrett Nussmeyer film study. So I know you're not going to get a live stream tomorrow. You're not going to get a live stream on Saturday, but a lot of you are asking, where was the Purdue film study? Well, I heard something about not posting any highlights of bowl season until after bowl season was over. So I pushed the film study back. Didn't want to step on any toes. So, and that wasn't from LSU. It was just something I saw on YouTube. Don't post bowl highlights for whatever reason. So, even though we're not posting highlights and we're doing a film study, it's different. Tomorrow night, Jaden Daniels film study. Saturday night, Garrett Nussmeyer film study. And I go in pretty deep about a few things that I think LSU is going to need to change over the next couple of years. And there's always something you could pick up on, even if you are killing the opposing team, because you do have to factor in level of competition. Purdue was missing some of their defensive linemen. So we're going to break it down very deeply over the next few days. Okay. So I know there's a lot of connections at TCU. Carlton Buckles, the DB coach at TCU, played with Walker's dad at LSU. So a lot of contacts there. That's the thing, it's you get into a slippery slope with the tampering stuff, right? Look, it's one of those things where you can't control that. You just can't. Like some people are going to tamper with players. So yeah. Honestly, praying for a transfer QB is not a long-term strategy. I hope that's not BK's plan. Strong disagreement here. I don't think you can apply that logic to quarterbacks like you apply that logic to all other positions, right? The bottom line is there is no exact strategy when it comes to the quarterback position for what is the actual best option. There's just not. Like for instance, most of Alabama's quarterbacks have been high school guys that they brought in. Most of Lincoln Riley's quarterbacks have been transfers. There is no exact way of doing it. So, you know, this idea that there is a certain way of getting quarterbacks, as long as LSU brings in, like a 4-star quarterback every cycle, you're doing pretty much everything you can do. I mean, Look, I mean, they had Dante Moore on freaking campus um, for the spring game, and that Joe Burrow there waiting to meet him. It's hard recruiting these 5-star quarterbacks that are can't miss, right? And like I said, it's impossible to know if Walker Howard. And I saw FACP's comment a minute ago about it's too early to say if Walker Howard is the best quarterback on the roster. And that's and I could find the comment. There's a lot flying in right now, and FACP is one of our smartest viewers. That's the exact point, right? You don't know. So if you don't know, and Walker didn't get his chance to play, and he doesn't want to wait around for his chance to play, his mind has been made up just by the situation. So look, we can get into a debate about were there promises made to Walker Howard? Was there something that was said to him that said, "Hey, if we're going to give you X amount of practice reps, we're going to give you X amount of game reps this first year," and those promises weren't met, then I could see Walker Howard being frustrated about a situation. If for some reason someone at LSU told him, "Hey, Walker, Jayden Daniels is going to be here for a year and go to the NFL," I can understand him coming back for another year, changing his situation as well. But no matter what the case may be, the simple truth is this: that he just did not want to wait around for the opportunity to play at LSU. He wanted to go do something else. And I am fine with that. I really am. So that's all there is to it. Okay. Did you notice the coaches and recruits posting the same rushing photo on Twitter in the past 3 hours? Sherman Wilson, Denbrock, Tavion, Colin Hurley, etc. I have not. I have been, I was on Blake's show earlier. I cut a video and then had some wedding stuff I had to do, which is why I had to push the live stream back a little bit. Why didn't any of you tell me that weddings can get like this? Like, it's not like dramatic. It's just so much stuff you got to do, right? I don't even know. Just to let you know, I didn't even know what we just talked about. Something about like hotel rentals or something like that. I don't know. I am never getting married again, ever, after today. You can mark that down. Huh? 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 I already planned on not, but I'm definitely not doing that ever again. But yeah, I did not see that, but that's good, right? Everybody in lockstep. Life moves on, the program moves on. Let's go to Cumby. Cumby's a big Walker Howard guy. Good to see you, man. JD better have 3,000 plus passing yards, 35 passing TDs, 1,000 plus 25 rushing TDs next year. Huh? 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 25 rushing TDs is a lot. So, Mark, are you saying this because you feel Walker Howard would have put up these numbers? I don't know. I don't know. Walker is dead to you? Huh? 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 That's funny. That's really, really, really funny. So, if you could think of another LSU fan, please share the stream. We're at over 100 viewers. I'm very happy to be at that number. That's crazy. We don't normally go live on Wednesdays, and we started it a little bit later. I really appreciate your patience. And thank you so much. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go to Rob G. I'm afraid it's going to be the case. I'm going to tell where he goes. I wish him the best. Yeah, I guess the likely landing spot here is going to be TCU. I do, but we'll see. I honestly, it'd be kind of fun to see him play in that offense. His number 15 that he wore in high school is being vacated there. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd be interested to see him play. Let's see. Trust fund, baby. mentality doesn't work at LSU. Okay? I I don't know if that was his mentality. I can't speak on behalf of Walker, but yeah, I mean, you know, like in a perfect world, he would have been here 2 years ago when LSU had a very tumultuous quarterback room and Max Johnson was really our only option. But, timing is everything at this position, right? The timing has got to be right for when you play. And it's tough. It's really, really, really tough. But I agree with JBS. I think, I speak on behalf of everybody. I think everybody's fine with Walker Howard wherever he goes, wishing him the best in his future. But at the same time, if he goes to another SEC school, especially since he is a quarterback, I will not wish him as well. Right. um, but yeah, nothing's wrong with having a trust fund. I don't know here's James follow up. Nothing is given, it's earned, just like at every other position at LSU. I see what you're saying now, right? I honestly don't fault Walker Howard for wanting to go somewhere else. I don't. I will say from his vantage point, or from Garrett Nussmeier's vantage point, they had invested so much time into LSU, right? Garrett Nussmeier was committed to LSU for a while, and he's been there 2 years. Walker Howard committed to LSU before his junior season, and he's been an LSU fan his entire life. His dad and mom, LSU fans. And then someone else helicopters in and takes all the snaps, right? It is frustrating, right, from his vantage. Also, something else that I think is very important to point out here is Walker Howard also was a guy who not only was committed at LSU for a while, but he was probably someone that thought Jaden Daniels was only going to play 1 year at LSU. And I feel quite a bit of the viewing audience viewed Jaden Daniels as a one and done guy here, but he wasn't. And he is coming back next year. And I did think that shocked some people. And, Jaden Daniels was in a position where, hey, he was contemplating whether or not he wanted to stay or go, last year, right? As far as going to the NFL or not. Also, Jayden would be gone if it wasn't for the Rona year, right? Um, he has 43 career starts, which is a ridiculous amount. So, if you are someone like Walker Howard, it is pretty frustrating that there is someone who has all this extra experience and he's gotten all this extra playing time and you haven't. And keep in mind, something else about Walker Howard that would make him kind of antsy is most quarterbacks, and in a few weeks, we're going to be interviewing Colin Hurley on the RMPHL in late February. But one thing I think that's very interesting is Walker Howard is an unusual case of a high school quarterback who did not start as a sophomore, right? Caleb Holstein, Eli Holstein's older brother, was the initial starter at St. Thomas More, and Caleb Holstein went to Louisiana Tech. He was a good quarterback, right? And Walker had to wait longer than your average elite recruit. And he actually committed to LSU before he ever even started a high school varsity game. So this is a guy who's played less than your normal freshman quarterback at this point anyway. So I think at this point he just wants to play. And ultimately, whether it's at LSU or whether it's at Grand Valley State, quarterbacks just want to play. And there's only one that can play. And that's the bottom line. Let's go to Javon here. Walker would have left regardless if Nuss won. And yeah, that's the thing. Garrett Nussmeier outperformed Walker last spring. Okay, I think we can agree with that. And Gary Nussmeier has actually performed in games. So Walker is already behind Garrett Nussmeier right now. Now, going into next offseason, it would have been a little bit more of a fair fight because Walker would have had 2 years of seasoning and growing. But at this point, um, Jaden, or excuse me, Walker had not had the experience that the other two quarterbacks has had. So, that's where we are right now. I think it was a huge mistake not letting Walker play more last year. So my question would be, Mick, where would you have played him? Here's where would how would you have divvied up those reps? I mean, there's no JV games, there's no preseason games, there's no 7-on-7. Can't hit the quarterback in practice. Um, where could he have played? And I'm asking that for you or anybody. Where could where could he have fit into the equation? So more of Nuss's reps. Okay. So which reps? Because Garrett Nussmeier himself didn't get many reps, did he? Like, so the Southern game happened, and he rightfully got the second team reps, and then Walker got some of those reps, but the game was out of hand. You're saying Walker should have played over Nuss versus Auburn, or I don't know. I just don't know where those reps would have come, and that's the point. Like, it's tough to Nuss's reps were so limited anyway that like for instance, would you have taken Nuss out versus Georgia? I don't think so. I don't. But the way Nuss was playing, I don't know many quarterbacks I would have taken him out for. Period. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. And I brought this up earlier. I just like even if you think it, I know a lot of you have brought up, and it is a really good point. It's a really good point. I know a lot of you have brought up Walker, should we have told Jaden Daniels to just walk? And should we have told him that just to make sure that we could keep Walker Howard around? I know a lot of you have made that point. But how does that make sense? That's what I'm struggling with. Because look, I have been a very vocal Jaden supporter. I've also been a very vocal Jaden critic, and you'll hear some of that tomorrow, right? But I think it is wrong to think that he's just bad at being a quarterback. He's not bad. I don't think you could say he's bad, right? And I'm not just saying he's not bad because he won the SEC West. That does help his case, but he's honestly just a fine quarterback. He's decent with the need of getting better as a thrower. And it's a very big if. So, yeah. Reality is that Nets is going to start in 24 and 25. Go to Stacy. Okay. It's true. It's true. Ricky Collins coming in. Back Daddy, good to see you. For those folks worried about star rating quarterbacks with the staff will be in the CFP every year moving forward, that will not be one of our problems. Every year, that's tough. I know we're expanding to 12 every year. Man, that's tough. That's tough. You would like to think we'd get in every year. I would say probably closer to every other year, but still. For those worried about star rating, the staff will be in the. But here's what I'll say, and you make a good point about the future. Okay, I also think the quarterback market, and it's just simple economics, right? It's just simple supply and demand, right? There are a limited amount of quarterbacks that can really move the needle for you, right? Some of them are 25 like Stetson Bennett. Some of them are year two guys like Caleb Williams that are 5 stars. Some of them are 3 stars like a Mariota or Johnny Manziel. They come in all shapes and sizes, right? I think Sellers from this last class of South Carolina is a sleeper to keep an eye out for as well. I like him a lot. There's all kinds of different quarterbacks, right? What I think we tend to do is look at quarterbacks in the collegiate game as a long-term thing when it's not, right? We have this idea that, because, your whole life you grew up watching the NFL and the idea of a franchise quarterback. And a lot of SEC fans from the Jefferson Pilot days are used to seeing David Green play 50 years at Georgia. And look, a guy like Jamarcus Russell had to wait his turn. You're used to, without the transfer portal, quarterbacks being there for long periods of time. When the truth is, college football is going to become a more one-year rental kind of sport, not only at quarterback, but at all positions. And, especially at quarterback, when you can truly change the trajectory of your team with just 1 year, it's going to become more of a year-to-year, see if you can fix this position kind of thing. And I do think the transfer portal is going to become more lit at the quarterback position because more money is going to be involved with quarterbacks going from spot to spot. Wow, look at this. What's up, Jordan? Love it. Click the like button. It goes a long way. And I'm really glad you mentioned that, my friend, because I got something I want to share with the viewing audience, and it's not a Presley Collection read. You better hang tough, right? Because take a look at this. 1, 2, 3. Bang! Got some PHL merch for you on sale right now. PowerHourLSU.com. If you get a PHL hoodie, or if you buy 2 pieces of merch, we don't have many hats left. Okay, got to send me a message to get a hat. We're almost sold out. Okay. If you buy 2 pieces of merch tonight, I'm sending you an autographed Will Campbell photo tonight. Yes, Will freaking Campbell, future first round draft pick. I put it over here. I'm going to go ahead and grab it so I can show it to you. It's one of my favorite ones right here. Bang. You're getting that photo right there. Autographed Will Campbell photo. So there you go. I've given out a lot of Will Campbell autograph photos lately. What's another? Okay. Feinbaum needs to have. What's up, Pressure? Good to see you. H-Town Creole, good to see you. And so we'll get into some Florida State stuff a little bit later. Carvis on some Ricky Collins. I know Tyler's pretty fired up. We got Colin Hurley coming on the channel a little bit later in the month. Pretty excited about that. Look at this. We went from 100 to 153. That's obviously a really good thing. I'm always blessed. Anytime I have 100 people in here, I'm super excited. I want to get to where we're having 200 and every live stream, because I really do feel like this PHL community is growing. I've gotten to get to do a lot of cool things over the past year that I never imagined. This channel taking me to Atlanta for the SEC championship game. Next thing you know, I'm sitting next to Tip. Next thing you know, I'm doing a live stream from some hotel in Atlanta. It was just crazy. TJ, good to see you. Rooting absolutely matters. There you go. Hurley comes to LSU. He could start as a freshman. That's how good he is. Hope you're right. I think I don't know if I'd want him starting as a freshman, but he can play. Colin Hurley can really play. And obviously, I'm not going to talk too much Colin Hurley until he actually jumps on the channel because he's got a lot to share with you. Branson, shoot me a message. I got you, my brother. We have the best QB room in the SEC. From an LSU fan perspective, of course we do. Best quarterback in the SEC is KJ Jefferson, I'll say. Much as I hate to say it, KJ can play. He is a tank. And I'm very glad he didn't play against us this year. But yeah. Now, a few more things on the quarterback position. Okay. So I just got done putting my grades out for Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier for the Purdue games. Okay. They were good. They were good. Could they have been better? Yes. Of course, after you rewatch a game where you win big, you start to find little flaws and things that could have been done better. But gosh darn it, there were some really, really good plays from both of them in this Purdue game. And ironically, some of their best plays came on incompletions and broken plays. So, and some of their completions were actually plays where there could have been more yardage, and you'll see that. So once again, if you're just joining us, tomorrow night, our Jaden Daniels film study versus Purdue is going to drop. Saturday night, if you are a big Garrett Nussmeier fan, that will also drop as well. Okay? So there you go. Bama's quarterback room is pretty depleted. Walker could notice that. I can assure you, I don't think Walker Howard's going to Alabama. I don't think so. Okay? Oh, thank you, Branson. I really appreciate your generosity. Yeah, man, I got you. Now, excuse me. That is true, Mike. That was a bad play. Other than that, he was pretty special. Walker Howard made a business decision. Like most of these learn is that you still have to be out of high school to be in the NFL draft. Walker Howard will be more than 3 from what I see. Go Tigers. There you go. So Branty, you get to pick the next topic. Go right on ahead. He says, any predictions where Walker Howard goes? Obviously, TCU is going to be the heavy favorite, right? At this point, though, like TCU is a little late in the game when it comes to the quarterback market, and they do need a quarterback. There's just no other way around it. So I'm guessing TCU, which needs a quarterback, is where Walker Howard is going to go. It just makes too much perfect sense, right? Dallas is drivable from Louisiana. I'm driving there tomorrow. So, yeah. But yeah. I'm not saying they have a better quarterback room. I'm just saying I would take KJ Jefferson over any quarterback in the SEC. And there's maybe 4 or 5 quarterbacks in all of college football I would take over KJ Jefferson. Right now, I think KJ is really special. I do. But yes, I think LSU's quarterback room is deeper. I do. Now, I will say this though, and this goes along with Jordan's super chat here. You could be Florida right now, right? And Florida has had the worst quarterback luck out of anybody. So Anthony Richardson, who I think could use another year of seasoning before he goes to the NFL, decides to go to the NFL. Once again, he really could have used another year of playing at the collegiate level because he's obviously got Josh Allen athleticism. He's just like young Josh Allen right now. I think he could use another year. So he goes to the NFL. Then you had this quarterback commit that had this I won't get into what actually happened, this very weird situation. He decommits. Then you flip Jaden Rashada, and he is begging now to get out of his NLI. His national letter of intent, and ironically, he's trying to get out of his national letter of intent because of NIL, which is kind of funny. It's kind of weird that those anonyms feature the same letters but slightly flipped. So what's very interesting right now is there are quite a few people out there and teams out there that are in a bad spot at the quarterback position. Do you know how many people would beg to have Jaden Daniels be their quarterback right now? At least 15 to 20 Power 5 teams would take a fifth-year starter, which, let's be honest, fifth-year starters oftentimes are on national championship level teams or college football playoff level teams or 10-win teams, right? Michael Penix is, even though he's not a fifth-year starter, Bo Nix. Were those guys as good as where they were with Auburn and Indiana or whatever? No, right? Seasoning matters. Age matters at the quarterback position. For some, it doesn't. There are some transcendent players like Bryce Young and Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence that are good straight out of the womb, if you will. Justin Herbert. But they are few and far between, right? So, we are in a good spot. And I honestly want you, when you go to bed tonight, if you are a big Walker Howard fan, if you know him, obviously you feel a little bit different about what I'm about to say. But if you are just looking at the situation, okay, type Y for yes, type N for no right now. And I'm dead serious. I want you to answer this as honestly as you possibly can. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Is Walker Howard the best quarterback on this roster right now? Or let me put it this way. He would be the guy that you would want to start next year for LSU. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Would you want Walker Howard to be the guy to start for LSU next season? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Okay. Tyrone says yes. And it's okay. I'm not going to judge you if you say yes or no. I'm really not. Okay. So Tyler says yes. I will say Tyler has been truthful in this whole time. He has said before, when he actually became a fan of the channel, he grades Walker Howard really highly. Kevin says yes. Okay. Cameron, make sure you check your DMs. I want to make sure I get your hat to you. Just type it again so I can see it, or super chat. If you super chat, I'll see it immediately. Because as you see, there's a gazillion comments flying in. But it's good to see you again, Eduardo. Exactly. Based on what? So, if you don't think he's going to be the guy next year, and there's an infinite amount of quarterbacks out there via the portal that you could pick up for the next season, and you still right now don't know if Walker Howard is a big-time Division I starting quarterback, you are honestly fretting about future LSU when the answer more often than not for us at quarterback has been via the transfer portal. So it's honestly, I promise you, you guys know I will call a spade a spade. It's not worth the stress. It's not. It's not. I promise you. I promise you. Okay. Cagenomics, good to see you. So there you go. Now, I know some of you want to talk some other LSU football news and notes. You want to talk J.K. Johnson. You want to talk Chestnut. You want to talk about the portal. We lost that defensive end to Florida State. I don't think it was that big of a deal. His advanced metrics weren't that great. And I would have said the same thing regardless if you would have picked LSU. So, yeah, I mean, I'll talk a little bit about Nussmeier here, okay? So I've always been very open that, I'm very lucky to know someone close to Nussmeier, and some of his teammates have actually watched our channel, and they used to comment, his high school teammates. Or I think it was classmates. I don't know. It's so long ago. I'll say this about Garrett Nussmeier. He redefined himself, right? He was a guy that rolled out a bunch versus Southern, and just threw just the absolute worst interceptions you'll see. And after that, those types of turnovers, while there were still turnovers, you didn't see those kinds of turnovers where you're rolling out, cutting off half the field, throwing into traffic. And he got better. He got better. And there were some throws in the Purdue game that are throws that we don't see Jaden make. And I give Nuss a lot of credit for this, because this is, and it won't, it's not, but it is a minor victory for him, because last year at this same time, after the season was over, and it was around this time we got the news that Miles Brennan was coming back, and this was before even Jaden came in. We did polls that said who is going to be the first quarterback to transfer. Garrett Nussmeier won it every time. And who is the last man standing now? Miles never played a down again for LSU, never suited up for LSU again. And Walker Howard is gone. And for that, I give Garrett Nussmeier a lot of credit. And something else I've learned from speaking and just hearing how people that actually go to LSU practice feel about the situation, I get from Garrett Nussmeier that he never really feared Walker Howard. He felt as if he was better the whole time. And you kind of have to have that strong-willed mentality when an LSU legacy quarterback comes in, son of a former LSU quarterback, the first 5-star quarterback, even though he lost his 5th composite star, but he was the first 5-star quarterback since Ryan Perrilloux. And all Garrett Nussmeier did, even though he had a year on him, was beat him out. And it got to the point where objectively at the end, Garrett Nussmeier was closer to Jaden Daniels than he was Walker Howard. And for that, I give Garrett a lot of credit. He works really hard. He puts in a lot of work, and that's no disrespect to Jaden, Walker, Miles. That's just objectively what happened here. And you know, you got to tip your hat to him. You really do. Well, the truth is, some people do fear competition. We see it all the time, right? I agree with you. Why would he fear anybody? But some people are competitors. Some people crumble when they have to compete or, you know, deal with someone else coming into the fray, right? And not many people got that dog in them. We see it all the time. So, you know, get the Tyler Singh right here. For now, just hope Nuts doesn't hit the portal agreement. That would be disastrous if that were to happen. And we would be in a lot of trouble if that were to happen. And that would be a clear panic situation if that were to happen. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I just don't. Because I feel as if Garrett Nussmeier right now feels he can beat out Jaden Daniels. Okay. And his bold decision, obviously not last year and the year before, it's obviously helping out LSU a lot right here. Because let's just say they come back, both of them come back, and Jaden Daniels, Stetson Bennett's next year, and he takes just this gigantic leap into transcendency, and he becomes a Heisman finalist. Okay. Well, guess what? Garrett Nussmeier still has 2 more years left, and he would be in pole position for the LSU job the next year. Garrett has a lot of leverage now, and he is in a good position now. So yeah, I've got to say it. You know, I get told some things about Nuss, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, we'll see. But a lot of what what I was told last year turned out to be true. That he is very competitive, and when I hear Garrett Nussmeier, um, when I hear things about him, they always say he's stubborn, he's a competitor, and you could say that about a lot of people. But isn't that what this kid just did? So I give him credit. I really do. How you feel about him as a player is a different thing. You could have your own opinion about him as a player. So yeah. Uh, I mean, if you can't see that, I can't really help you. Huh? Come on, Mom Dog. You're smarter than this. Why wouldn't us hitting the portal be a disaster if we were so good with JD5? Oh, then y'all will be upset. Because Mont Dog, I don't know if you ever heard of this. It's called a backup quarterback, right? And sometimes you need a backup quarterback, and I don't think you or anybody would want a true freshman backup quarterback. You know, just simple, right? I'm not saying JD5 is the second coming or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, if you lose 2 scholarship quarterbacks in the same season and you only have 1 true freshman backup, you would have to go to the portal to get someone else to come in and back up the starter. So yeah, it would very clearly be a disaster. And that would just be more so because of numbers, not necessarily because of how either player actually plays. Okay? Oh, is he being sarcastic? I don't know. I didn't. And I wouldn't say I know a few people probably felt that way, so my apologies if he was being sarcastic. Uh so yeah. My apologies if you're being sarcastic. You guys know I love everybody. Or I kind of love everybody. I don't love everybody. Type Y for yes, type N for no. If you want me to share the media member in LSU YouTube that I just hate. I just hate him. I will tell you that right now in the chat. If we get a super chat, I'll honestly tell you who it is. What's up, Sherry? Good to see you. John Sibley says no, and John Sibley's one of my biggest supporters. So I'm just not going to share that. I'm not going to spill the tea. Huh? 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 His first name begins with the letter B, and his last name begins with the letter R. Hate that guy. Hate him. Despise him. Would never take a phone call from him ever. Hate him with a passion. The beard, the whole thing. Really? Oh, you're being sarcastic. Huh? 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 Sherry comes in. She was one the tea immediately. Hate that guy. You could tell. You could tell him I said it. You could tell him I said it. There you go. That's the right way to do it, Cajun-omics. Burt Reynolds. Huh? 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 Oh man. It was actually this guy right here. Huh? Oh, that's funny. I hate the 225 confirmed. Confirmed. No, it's Blake. I hate Blake so much. I really do. I hate Blake. Hate him. Can't stand him. Don't know why I jump on his show. Huh? 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 I honestly don't hate anybody. I really don't. I'm serious. You know, a funny thing about Buddy Sanji, Buddy Sanji helped get me my start. Two people gave me a start. Buddy Sanji and Jimmy Ott. Used to co-host with Buddy, intern for Jimmy. So I'm always going to have respect for those two gentlemen. OG still doing it. It is so funny. Golden Boot just jumps right in. Carter, didn't Saban take two top QBs from the class of 2024? Wouldn't that mean that one of those 4 and 5-star QBs will be transferring at some point? Okay. Yeah, it's a great question, right? So Eli Holstein and Dylan Loner again is coming in this next class, and more than likely Milroe is going to be their guy next year unless Ty Simpson beats him out. So, and this is the thing right here. And LA Mama actually did ship your photo out today, so I got a bunch of autograph photos going out pretty soon. But yeah, it's a good question, right? Let's just say Eli Holstein goes to Alabama and doesn't like it. I take him back. He's got some real big time athleticism. Athletically, there are no questions about if he can play at the Division I level. It's if he's actually good. Lonergan's a little bit different. I know he's not the same type of athlete as Eli is. But Lonergan can play as well. I think this year's crop of quarterbacks are pretty good. I do, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Well, I know you would, Pierce. Yes, that's a good point, LA Mama. Thank you for your super chat, and thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. You know, LA Mom's like one of the most popular people when we did the Lance Hurd giveaway. And I didn't even say nominate somebody. There was 5 different people that said, give it to LA Mom, right? He does a lot. Like, I don't know how I feel about him, but he's kind of, just this supreme athlete that you honestly don't really know. You don't. Now, I do know there is something that LA Mom likes more than me. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the day LA Mom publicly professed her love for something more than PHL. But she did. Okay. And I couldn't believe it. Boom! Tyler's our winner tonight. He was ready to go. And Tyler didn't have the comment already locked and loaded. Tony coming in late. Oh, no. We got a bunch of people. I think Tyler got this one pretty clean tonight, folks. Pressy Collection and PressyCollection.com. I'm going on my bachelor trip this weekend, and I'm just thankful that I had someone like the Pressy Collection to make the engagement ring process very easy for me. But here's the funny thing about it, folks. It's not just engagement rings, right? It's everything. Everything under the sun. Jewelry rise, necklaces, watches, all that good stuff. Pressy Collection, PressyCollection.com. Once again, that is Pressy Collection and the Presley Collection.com. I really appreciate him. And here's what's funny. We got a bunch of other giveaways coming out with the Pressy Collection. So you might as well stay tuned to that. Ask Anyone, we did an LSU trivia last week, and it got pretty crazy. And the answers were Josh Jurassic, Ricky Jean Francois, Ron Brooks. So if you're a diehard LSU football fan, we got more trivia and all that good stuff with the Pressy Collection and the PressyCollection.com. Oh, yes, Johnny did say the full thing. So we have 2 winners tonight, Johnny 5 and Tyler. Okay. So I think I want to make that a rule. You got to do the full thing. You got to get the Presley Collection. You got to say it fully. Okay. So now we got the trivia question to decide who is the true Presley Collection trivia winner tonight. Okay. So this is a question for Tyler and Johnny 5. You got to answer it first. Okay. Whoever gets this first is a winner tonight. Okay. Name the only LSU defensive lineman that rocks a single digit number. The only LSU defensive lineman that rocks a single digit number. Okay. So Johnny 5 and Tyler, the first one to get that right, will be our Presley trivia winner. Sean, good to see you. I saw him in the playoff games against Ruston. He got knocked out of the game. Slow and long delivery. Yes, mechanically, there is a lot to work on. Okay. Johnny 5, good to see you. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. The issue is Johnny gave the full name. Tyler gave only part of his name, but you both spelled it wrong. It is Mason Smith, but it's Mason with 2 A's. Thank you, H-Town Creole. You actually spelled it right. He beat you. Dang, Tyler. Tyler thought he had him one. I don't know, LA Mom. I don't know. Eli's got a lot of things he's got to work out. But he's got a bazooka. He can play. Look at that. It's 9:45 Central, 10:45 on the East Coast. There's 150 of you in here. I'm feeling great. Feeling great about life. Now, a few more things that is not quarterback related. I would highly recommend someone super chat some other LSU topic or just anything, because we have beaten to death the quarterback thing. Now, no matter who's at quarterback, you got to have a team around it, right? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Do you feel LSU has got a championship roster next year? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Okay. Sherry says no. Uh, Chris says no. What's up, Chris? Good to see you. Everybody, welcome Chris to the channel. Look at that. Chris is a super dad at PHL. I'm guessing this is your daughter. Super dad's a PHL. I love to see it. I do. Shout out to you. Minnesota Steve, what's up, man? You got to email me, man. I still got some shirts for you. So 3 out of every 4 of you. Mason Taylor will be elite next year. If he can hold off Kamari Pimpton, Pimpton looks like a dude. Jackson McGohan looks like a dude, right? Your family wanted Arch to go to Georgia. Every quarterback wants to go to Georgia now, play for Kirby. Did you hear that pregame speech? Are you kidding me? That was wild. Wild pregame speech. That got me fired up. You know, the more I think about it, and I got a text after my segment with Blake earlier tonight. Y'all were going to talk about Georgia, but you didn't, right? Ran out of time. I'll share something really quickly about Georgia, and I shared it on the SEC channel today. Okay, Power Hour SEC, go check it out. It'll make you feel better about life. I don't know why, as LSU fans, we've not respected what Kirby's done, because we saw a few years ago, we were in the same spot, historic national championship season. Then the next year, break the record for the amount of NFL draft picks leave, then lose key coaches and key players. The only big difference is that they did return their quarterback. So that's obviously a big thing here. But all Kirby did was not tank the program. And I don't know if that says more about him or more about our former coach, but we know how hard it is to keep the foot on the gas pedal and to run the freaking table. And I don't know about you guys, but I kept hearing, well, Georgia's got the best players, and they do. Like them in Alabama and Ohio State, they got the best athletes. It's clear. But did we not watch them schematically do so many innovative things this year offensively and defensively? While they weren't as good this year as the year before, they're still pretty daggum good. God, that is impressive. That is impressive. What's up, guys? Aaron Anderson was also the punter in high school. I didn't know that. I'm just saying could be an interesting formation. Let's go. Yeah, you know what's interesting, Black OT, and I know this is just like one of your typical funny comments, but I did find it a little bit frustrating that LSU um, did all these trick plays and versus Purdue, and when our offense was sputtering, why didn't we do more trick plays? I was always a little perplexed by that. Um, but that was actually a pretty good thing to see. And hopefully we do more tricks next year. And the one thing to finish up on the Georgia thing, to go along with your really good comment here, is um, we just simply didn't do well, excuse me, Georgia simply doesn't just run you over. They're innovative. They do a lot of different things well. And that's part of the reason why I really enjoyed watching them. And, I had watched them quite a bit this year, but one of the things that really stood out to me is how much I enjoyed um uh th- I really really enjoyed watching them just play. And, that in and of itself was a lot of fun. I wanted to pull this up really quickly. Michael T, good to see you. Jared, thank you for your super chat as always, and I appreciate your friendship. I will be calling you tomorrow on my long drive to Dallas. Once again, if you're in the DFW area, hit me up. Thank you for being a friend. Oh, I know what I got to do. All right. Let's make this easy. Oh, okay. I know what I got to do. At all. At all. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Have you ever been to Dallas? Did you enjoy it when you went to Dallas? What should I do in Dallas? Oh, I know what I have to do here. I gotta lower the. There we go. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? I remember when I went to Atlanta, you guys gave me 1,000. You want me to come to Austin? Put me up for a night. I'll come see you, John. I don't know if I can. Haley would kill me. So I do want to bring this up. All right. And I talked with Hal about this privately a few weeks ago. So I will be in Baton Rouge, not this coming Tuesday, but the next. I would love to do some kind of meetup, right? It's the off season. We're not as tense or whatever. So not this coming Tuesday, but the next. I think that is the 24th. And that ironically is my birthday. Well, the day before is my birthday. So I'd love to do a get together in Baton Rouge with some of you. That'd be a lot of fun. Got a binge velvet taco. I'm gonna come pick you up tomorrow, Black Coat T. Jacoby and Guillory. We're big Jacoby and Guillory fans here. His dad's a big fan of PHL. Kobe's always dropping in. There we go. Lot Cook? Old Chicago? What's Old Chicago? Is that in where's Old Chicago? They're in Dallas. Oh, I've heard of Old Chicago. Well, shoot me a message, TJ. Shoot me a message on Discord. I still text with Jay Hill. Not as often. I know he's in, XFL mode, trying to get ready for that. So, training for that's got to be pretty arduous. So, yeah, tried to text him this weekend because I was hanging out with the next great running back at LSU. Well, I don't think they've done the draft yet. I would guess he gets drafted. So there you go. Now, here's what I'm going to do. John Sibley with the super chat. V Live in Dallas had some really good wings. I just love Dallas. I just do. I really do. I could live there. I really could. Do you think that Coach Kelly will take some heat because of the entire QB situation? Will he allow the fans to influence him? Okay. So we've honestly not talked a whole lot about Brian Kelly. And I made it a point with my segment with Blake earlier to make this point. I'm going to make it again. The blame for this should not be on Jaden Daniels, because some say, well, Jaden is just gone. Like he deserves to. He's the reason why we're here. He's the reason why Walker Howard's leaving. And to be honest, he is part of it, right? Because if he wasn't there, Walker very easily could see more light at the end of the tunnel, being the clear backup to just Garrett Nussmeier, right? So, yes, Jaden is part of the reason. But the ultimate decider in who gets to play and who doesn't is Brian Kelly. It is not Mike Dimbrock. It is not Joe Sloan. They probably have some influence with what they have to say, but ultimately it's Brian Kelly, and he is an offensive minded coach. He is the offensive side of the football coach. So it is his decision. So, yes, no matter what happens, Brian Kelly is going to get the credit or the blame, because this is the most important thing you do, right? Is picking the correct quarterback. So he is going to take heat. And if you are criticizing the situation, you should not criticize Jaden Daniels. You should criticize Brian Kelly. So that comes with it. Sometimes I criticize Brian Kelly, and I know that is at odds with some of the fan base. I lost subscribers for some of my criticism of Ed Orgeron. That comes with it. I think you guys come to this channel for honesty and objectivity while also being a fan. So, yes, Coach Kelly should get some of the heat if you choose to give him heat for this. And something else that does deserve mentioning is one major hole in Brian Kelly's resume is that he's never truly had an elite quarterback. He's had really good quarterbacks, obviously Ian Book being one of them, but he's never truly had transcendency at the quarterback position. Now, I could argue that that is very random, quarterbacks that are truly great, but there are some coaches that are truly great quarterback developers. We mentioned, Lincoln Riley a little bit earlier, but there's others that you could point to and say, this guy does actually change the trajectory of a quarterback's career. I think one of those guys would be Hugh Freeze, right? Um, but there's just that's part of the heat as well. And some LSU fans will make that point is, hey, Brian Kelly's never had an elite quarterback. Maybe he doesn't know how to properly evaluate the position. Um, so yeah, that it's a valid criticism to a certain extent. But my pushback would be quarterbacks becoming elite is also a random thing as well, right? You know, at Georgia, when did Kirby Smart have an elite quarterback? Well, not until this year with Stetson Bennett did he ever really have like elite quarterback play. Like Jake Fromm was good, but he wasn't like special. Will he allow the fans to influence him? I don't think so. Um, but we'll see. Influence can come in from so many different directions, but I highly doubt it. Brian Kelly is a very strong-willed guy. But it's a really good super chat, John. Simply, thank you so much for your generosity. You and Jared super chatting every live stream really helps out. Here's Jason. Obviously, I value Jason's opinion pretty highly. Howard was going to stay too. See how that worked out. Hurley is no guarantee, and Collins is not elite. So, as far as Ricky Collins is concerned, that's fine if you have that evaluation, right? You are right in terms of star rating. He is nowhere really close to Walker Howard's star rating. So, yeah, I think a lot of people agree with you, Jason, that Ricky Collins is not an elite prospect. Some people feel he is, some people feel he's not. I know Carvis thinks Ricky Collins is a really high-end quarterback prospect. Colin Hurley is no guarantee. Yeah, we're gonna have Colin on the channel a little bit later in the month, and I think even he would say, nothing is a guarantee. But what I do know is he loves LSU. I do know, and Walker loved LSU too, but I do know he is going to be one of the more interesting quarterback prospects just simply because of his age, right? He is so unbelievably young for a quarterback prospect. But yeah, there is no guarantee for, especially someone that is a rising junior, but is technically a rising senior in terms of his football eligibility because he's class of 2024. But I do think Colin Hurley's really good, and I wouldn't have him on the channel if I didn't think he was going to be really good. Howard was going to stay. Jason, I do like Walker Howard a lot, and I think wherever he's going to go, he's going to be really good. I do think so. But that's just my thinking. It's just not confirmed. Like it's not something I would say a gazillion percent that I'm certain about. Okay, let's see here. Colin Hurley is all in. I'm really excited about having him on the channel a little bit earlier. No offense to Collins, but he was a backup option. Will likely never start here. Yeah, I think a lot of quarterbacks would be backup options to Dante Moore, though, for being honest here. Let's go to Rico. Thank you for the super chat. Okay. This kind of goes on with John Sibley super chat here. Um, if JG5 does tons of film work, works on throwing receivers open, and stops going to Rod Wave concerts, he'll have a great year in 2023. I don't know enough about music to know who Rod Wave is. I've heard the name. I don't think I can name a Rod Wave song. So, does he go to a lot of Rod Wave shows? I don't know. I do agree with the first two. Obviously, all quarterbacks can use some film work. I think Jaden can as well, and I also think Jaden obviously needs to work on throwing the football. It's an issue. I'll be as honest as I possibly can. It's an issue. He does need to get better at it, and I would like to think he feels that way too. Um, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Ooh, it's been a long day. Rod Wave. Is it something about Rod Wave himself? Oh, Yeah, I figured. Rod Wave. I kind of want to listen to his music though. Let me see. He good? Oh, he's only 23. Panama Jack. So there you go. Now, here's what we're going to do. In the next 5 minutes, I'll answer as many questions as we possibly can in the next 5 minutes. But if you do super chat, we'll keep this party moving all night long. Don't forget, okay, get your PHL merch now. Okay, goes a long way in supporting the channel. Okay, take a look at all this PHL merch. Get yourself a hat. Okay, Chris. Oh, I didn't know. Wait, I can't. It's such a tiny photo. Thank you for the shout out. That was my wife in the picture, and she is older than me. Go Tigers. Let me see. I don't know. I guess it's just the angle. Maybe I because it's like a miniature photo, but still, you're out with someone you love. There you go. I'm sorry about the mix up. Mrs. Higginbottom. Higgin. Oh, this is interesting. Higginbotham. 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 Botham. Higginbotham. Like I've met plenty of Higginbottoms, but Higginbotham. Okay. Johnny says, can't wait for the second interview to drop with the great Trey Holly. Why don't we play a clip from The first.
And he shared a very interesting quote about something you said to him about starting at left tackle year one.
I like his personality. He's extremely confident. Maybe, yeah, I'll share this with you. In recruiting him early on, as we were going through the process, he said, Coach, you know I'm only going to play left tackle, and that's it. I said, well, we got a true freshman, Will Campbell, playing left tackle right now. He's pretty good. He goes, well, I've seen Will Campbell play. I played with Will Campbell. I'm playing left tackle. And ever since that time, I was like, I like this kid. Just his confidence, and it wasn't cocky, but it was a confidence, and he's just been that way in the recruiting process. Has a great confidence level, believes in what he's doing and what he can do for this program, and then we put him through the ringer now. I mean, we brought him in here and we worked him out, and he kept coming back, and we worked him out again. And we got eyes on him, and we watched him, and maybe some of you guys were here, but we put him through the ringer, and he passed every test for us. So feel great about him being in the program.
Say that to him.
Similar.
So what did you tell him?
I can't remember exactly, but
okay,
it's nothing, personal between me and Will. Will is my brother. Me and Will are actually like brothers, and I got hella respect for him. And it's vice versa. So it's just us, and our instinct. We're very competitive.
I love that.
And we're gonna always go at it. So
I love that. I love it when people truly believe in themselves, right? Because in high school he played left and you played right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you want to play left?
How about that? What's up, Alex? Yeah, I think we're out on the Jaden Rashada thing. Outside of Trevor Lawrence's named the 5-star quarterbacks who went high in the draft the last 5 years. Let's see. Tua, Fields. So a lot of the 5-star quarterbacks would still be playing now. Tua, Lawrence, Fields. So there's already not a lot of 5-star quarterbacks, and there's not a lot of 5-star quarterbacks. There's not a lot of quarterbacks who go high. But I get what you're saying. All right. Bryce Young this year, Caleb Williams next year. Kyler Murray. Tua was like the lowest 5-star, but he was a 5-star. Here's a good question. Do you like that we wear the same jerseys for home and away games? I do. I do like the white jersey, gold bottoms. And I'm not really much of like a jersey traditionalist, right? But I do like the majority of our games are in that uniform. I like it better than the purple uniform. It's just iconic, and yeah, I do. Me a year ago, yeah, he could do it. Not me now. I'm too fat. Way too fat. Okay. Chris, thank you for the super chat, man. So Chris kept it moving. So Chris, you get to pick the next topic. Go right on ahead. Chris Higginbotham. And Chris, if you're new, I highly recommend you join the PHL Patreon. $9.99 a month gets you into the Discord. And if you sign up now, I'll send you a Joe Burrow card. How about that? Just notice the Pels headgear. Look at that. Just upgraded a lot of things back here. It's one of my favorite things. Got as a Christmas gift. Look at this. Joe Burrow signed Funko Pop. Look at that. That's definitely cool. Right there. So, Chris, you get to pick the next topic. Go right on ahead. Let's see here. Haven't watched a whole lot of JK. Watch a lot of Chestnut. I think Chestnut's a pretty solid player, and he's going to fit in with what we do. You know, the good thing about the way LSU uses their corners is they do, and I have to go back and rewatch and actually count it. They do play a lot of off coverage, right? So it's like a lot of, 5-yard cushions, and they did a lot of that at Syracuse. So Chestnut will fit in well, and JK could be a slot guy. Obviously has elite speed, and he'll fit in nicely too. Good question. Kentucky coach headed for Austin. I could see it. Coach Cal. It's brutal. Abso-freaking-lutely. Brutal. Hope LT and Allen don't hit the portal. LT and Allen. Oh, Terrence Welsh and Jordan Allen. I mean, it could happen. It's hard, right? Like Terrence Welsh, coming out a top 150 recruit, was just very hurt his last couple years in high school. There you go, Chris. So Chris wants to talk about the defense. How good will our defense be next year? We seem to have a lot of new pieces. There you go. Well, the good news, Chris, is last year we had a lot of new pieces as well. And I'm going to be honest with you, Chris, unless you're Georgia or Alabama and you just consistently recruit so many 5-stars on defense, it's going to be a lot of this, right? Like Arkansas's defense was brand new. Ole Miss's defense was brand new. Mississippi State, who had a pretty solid defense, they had a lot of guys who returned. But yeah, it's so many new pieces. I think the first thing, Chris, is for LSU to figure out who the jack linebacker is going to be. And that is the BJ Ojolari position, right? I think that's kind of where you have to start because it is a very unique position and you need a certain type of athlete to play that position. I think they'll be fine with some of the guys that they brought in via the portal for the 3 down lineman positions. But figuring out who the jack is going to be is going to take some time. I know a lot of people want Braden Swinson to be that guy. So we'll see. He's got a lot of experience playing there. Then you go to the second level where linebacker is just a huge hole in terms of depth right now. There's so much pressure on Greg Penn to be the guy, along with somebody else. And then you have to factor in where's Harold Perkins going to play. And then you have the secondary, right, where I think both of the corners will be portal guys. And then your safety combination will be Major Burns, Greg Brooks, and maybe Toviano, maybe Kylan Jackson. The slot corner will probably start off with Sage Ryan, but I think that position will also be up for grabs as well at some point. So then you got to ask this question, Chris. Is that group of players going to be good? Probably. I mean, you got Harold Perkins. He's special. As long as you have him, you got a shot. They just need to get deeper, right? Their defensive line's pretty deep right now. So they're fine there. The jack, once again, and just the linebackers as a whole is going to be an issue. And then the secondary should be okay, but we'll see what happens. Okay. So yeah, it's a very good question. It really is a very good question. And Chris, I really appreciate your insight on that. Now, we're going to do it again. In the next 5 minutes, I'll answer as many questions as we possibly can. But if you super chat, we'll keep this party moving all night long. Okay? Nuts Bus, get your collective together and keep the Nuts Bus rolling. I like that. I like it. Keep it rolling. What's up, Buster? There you go, Ray. Hope you're right. Buster? Let's see here. Oh, it's Rico, a cherry limeade. Huh? That's funny. Austin is 50 times better than Dallas. That's a good question. What is the meaning of life? It's a hard question. I think about that quite a bit. Okay. Like, what is the meaning of life? It's whatever you want it to be, honestly. For me, I think, do you make things better for other people? Or do you make things worse for other people? I think if we do more of the latter instead of the former, obviously, you're going to live a very meaningful life. But yeah, what you want out of life is, up to you. right? So yeah, for me, what I've wanted out of my life is change, right? Like I wanted to be a national Sports Center anchor for forever. But then I was like, what, I would like to do that at some point, but there's other things I want to accomplish, right? And, I guess, your meaning could be a lot of things. Could be your kids, could be your profession, whatever it may be. But, the meaning of life to me is just living it the best I can and trying to squeeze as much out of it as I possibly can. I appreciate you, Chris. Let's go. What else would it be? There are no more Stuart Scotts. It's true. Separation of positive and negative. Yep. Family, LSU football, and crawfish. That's a good one. Walk by faith and not by sight. Amen. Is it amen to this one or this one? I'm confused. How do I feel Ohio State stacks up against LSU in the wide receiver U argument? I mean, they're up there, but they're not LSU. I do think Garrett Wilson looks really good. And Chris Olave. I didn't think Chris Olave was going to be as good as he was this year for the Saints. He was obviously very good. So there you have it. Let's see here. I always like to check to see if I got any Venmos. Can't hear me? Hey, LA mom. Family, LSU football. I want to sit back in the chair. Oh, yeah. Sometimes my chair sinks because I'm fat now. So, this has been a very fun live stream. I do got to get up in the morning and hit the road. So, there is good news. Very, very, very good news. Okay. The first is tomorrow at this link. Okay. We'll be doing a Jaden Daniels film study tomorrow night at 8:15 Central. Okay. Saturday night, we will be doing a Garrett Nussmeier film study. Okay. So be on the lookout for that. Okay. So tomorrow, Jaden Daniels film study. Saturday, Garrett Nussmeier film study. I almost said Walker Howard. Also, from earlier today, I did release a Walker Howard video. If you want to watch that, go right on ahead. But I highly recommend you join our PHO Patreon. I am posting a lot of film study nuggets in there, so make sure you check that out, okay? It is Power Hour LSU, baby. Bomb! And tonight, we're doing some pizza. Let's go.